Hello and welcome to the second part of our e-lecture series International Project Management, brought to you by Lübeck University of Applied Sciences in cooperation with On Campus. We talked in the first part about the introduction, and we already briefly touched base upon a definition of a project or project management in general. So a project is defined as a unique approach. So the uniqueness is a characteristic trait of a project of the conditions of time, goals, and resources such as costs or staff. So this is a definition, a hands-on definition of a project. The most basic characteristic trait of a project, let me repeat that and emphasize that, is its uniqueness, so that it is set apart from the daily work or daily routine of what people usually do in the organizations. What are tasks when it comes to project management? So let me summarize some of those. So first, project management involves planning. What is planning? So you have to identify tasks that need to be done in order to accomplish a specified objective which has been laid down to get the project implemented. Then what you need to do in the planning phase as well, you need to specify the resources you're going to use. What is meant by that? You have to think whether you're getting the resources, so the people who work for the project internally, or whether you resource them from an external basis or source. So in some cases it may be helpful and instrumental to get, for example, lawyers or engineers to write a certain kind of report, to get them from external sources rather than to use internal stuff. So because it can be less costly. Then you have to work out risks and deadlines. So you have to do a proper risk analysis. And also you have to specify for each task that needs to be done, you have to specify certain kind of deadlines, of course. Then the second big element which needs to be done or which is involved in sophisticated project management is measurement, assessment, controlling. So you need to, after the tasks have been set, you need to measure whether everything is in line, whether the specified deadlines are going to be met by the people, and whether the project is still on time. So it is the comparison of to-be status and as-is status for each task that has been specified. And if there are deviations, so if you realize that some tasks are late when it comes to implementation, you need to manage that. You need to do issue management in this respect. And this is directly linked to the third big element of project management, is the management itself, the project management itself. So what are the reasons for deviation? So why can't certain tasks be done on time? And if you analyze the deviations in a sophisticated way, you can get away with them, you can address them. Probably you need more time to carry out a certain kind of task, or you need external advice or support. You have to respond to those deviations and changes, and of course, finally, you have to ensure that you achieve and accomplish your targets, although there may be deviations or changes. What are success factors in project management? of course, success factors directly relate to what has been said before. So you need professionally qualified people. So the professional qualification of a project manager is key, of a project leader. This not only means that he or she is capable or has an in-depth track record in carrying out projects and knows about the tools such as milestone analysis and critical path analysis, but also, second one, that he or she encompasses social skills, soft skills, that enable him or her to professionally motivate the team members and also other stakeholders which are important in the project management. You have to have crisis management abilities, in particular when it comes to unplanned situations, because although you set up a project and all responsive and corresponding tasks, of course there are always incidents, issues that pop up that couldn't be foreseen. For example, some change in legislation or some economic downturn or something like that. And those incidents, they call for a high responsiveness and for management capabilities to manage those issues. And of course, communication directly linked to the bullet points above when we talked about social skills also in the first part. You remember in the first part we talked about the development of project management, that this was driven primarily at the beginning by technical skills because it was coming from the military. And then there was an increasing awareness of the soft skills and the importance of those. And one key element is communication, and therefore we also have a separate chapter in this e-lecture series on communication as well. Then adherence to time frame. I think this is quite obvious when it comes to projects. To budget, so you have to have sophisticated cost management, and last one, standardization of project management processes. What is meant by that? If you do projects in an organization, and all too often it is the case that every project manager handles projects differently. So they use different kind of templates, or they don't even have templates, or they create templates. But then another project is done, or maybe done in parallel by another project manager in a different department, and then he or she is using completely different templates. So what I mean by putting an emphasis on this bullet point is that it pays off in the long run to have templates which are being used whenever a project is done in the organization. So it makes sense to set up something like, I don't know, a template for milestones, for example, when it comes to milestone planning, or when it comes to risk analysis. It makes sense to have a standard template which can be used every time a project is carried out or set up. This is a very important aspect of every project in organizations, whether they are non-profit organizations or for-profit organizations. This is what we call the magic triangle of international project management. On the one hand side, we have the goals, so the objectives, and this is also related to quality. Then we have costs, so this is the costs that are being involved by using resources such as people and the time. And this triangle is called magic triangle because the goals here, they are trade-off. They are in a trade-off relation. And this means that the better you achieve one goal, the more you have to give up at a second one. For example, costs. If, for example, there are less, for example, the budget has been cut from its original basis, so the costs are going down, then usually also the quality will go down. It will not go up. Because, for example, if you have less money, less budget, less capex available, you cannot do, for example, a sophisticated marketing research in the framework of a project. And therefore the quality, so the reliability of a new product, of a new innovation may go down. Or if you have less time available, it is very likely then that also the quality goes down as well. And the other way around. So if you if you aspire a higher quality or a more sophisticated, a more ambitious goal, usually you have to allow more costs and more time. This is meant by this magic triangle, that these three elements are in a trade-off relationship. This is what we call the magic triangle of project management. So this was it, the second part of our series of podcasts on international project management. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are very much looking forward to seeing you again on this channel. All the best, thank you very much, and bye-bye.